I think very often in Like Flesh of the electronics as a second orchestra. The choice in Like Flesh to work with both electronics and instruments amplified, but acoustic instruments, came from a long period of work and research that I've been doing at IRCAM, the Center for Music Research and Technology, from a desire to create a sound world that is both the sound world that we can create acoustically, a sound world that I can do through my instrumental research, but also a sound world that is more imaginary. So what is this other world that we're exploring? What is this other world of this character that is transitioning, since the story is about a metamorphosis? The electronic sounds, the electronic sound world of the second orchestra of Like Flesh has at its base two types of sonic worlds. One is one that is based on orchestral samples, so I thought of it in a very much in the same way that we would think of an orchestra. On the other hand, there's another category of sounds, and these are what I call the concrete sounds. So these are sounds of things that are a bit bubbly, crackly, things that sound a bit like skin that is being pulled, things that are opening up, very watery. So different elements that are also being used in the stage design from Silvia, the director's perspective of the earth, air, water. I achieved these in a rather unexpected way. So I used things like different types of food, different types of slimes, glue on my skin that I peeled off. And so a lot of these sounds make references to natural elements, but in fact the origin of them is quite concrete, quite real. The work on spatialization in Like Flesh is quite unique, specifically because we're not working with spatialization that is simply around the audience, as we often encounter, but spatialization that is not focalized to an ideal point, because when we are dealing with sound around, usually there's a sweet spot, there's an ideal point to listen from. Whereas in Like Flesh, we took a less centralized approach, so a more network-based approach, where actually there are many points, and so there's no ideal spot to also sit. You will have a speaker next to you. Maybe if you're above, you will look down into this environment of speakers, of points. It's a constellation, we can say, a bit like looking at the stars. It's a constellation of points. There are moments where, yes, the sound is around us. There are moments where the sound is in front of us. There's a moment where it's behind us, and then there are moments when we have this more concrete sounds, a world that is appearing that is slightly eerie, slightly strange, also working a lot with the voices and with the choir, we start to understand that there's also something underneath us. In the text, there's always this reference to the roots, to something that is hidden from view, that we cannot really comprehend. And so working a lot with this idea of an imaginary, of what can this world be and where is it? Is it all around us? Is it underneath us? Is it above? So we work a lot with that space.